Hello and welcome to the webinar. Today's topic, how native data protection is not enough. This event is presented in partnership with our friends over at Rubrik. Thanks so much for joining us on the webinar today. Before we get started, there's a few things that you should know. My name is David Davis of Actual Tech Media, and I'll be serving as the moderator. We always want these events to be educational. I know everyone out there in the IT world is struggling with data in one shape or form, and data protection is a huge piece of that. And that is the point of today's event. So we encourage your questions on the topic today. We welcome your questions, and we want to help you to solve your technology challenges around native data protection. So keep those questions coming there in the questions pane. Many of you have already said hello. Good afternoon. We love to see that, but we also want your technical questions. We also want to encourage you to check out the handouts tab there in your audience console. It's there that you'll find a link to get started with Rubrik, and also a link to the upcoming Rubrik and Microsoft Zero Trust Summit hosted by John Kindervarg. Make sure that you check that resource out and sign up for that. At the end of the webinar today, I'll be announcing the winner of our Amazon $300 gift card. If you're watching this recorded, of course, that drawing has already occurred. The prize terms and conditions can be found there in the handouts tab. All right, with that housekeeping information out of the way, it's now time to kick off today's event. I'm excited to welcome Vasu, who is a Vice President of Product at Rubrik, and Ashish, who is a Director of Product Management at Rubrik as well, to the event. This is going to be a great educational discussion. I'll hand it off to you all. Take it away.
Your business runs on data, and your most critical data is in your databases. Securing this data is essential to your business resilience. We are excited to share how Rubrik keeps your databases and business running in the face of any threat, including cyber threats. Let's get started. Protecting databases has never been more challenging. Your databases power applications that run your business. Your business is down when databases are down. In our research from Rubrik Zero Labs, 98% of the 1,600 IT and security leaders reported experiencing a cyber attack in the last year, which means it's highly likely you've heard of one of these in your organization. It has never been more critical for you to get your databases protected and quickly recoverable to get your business back on track. However, this is only getting more challenging as the volume, variety, and complexity of applications and data increase across the cloud and the data center. Legacy approaches to backup and recovery leave databases vulnerable, create silos, and make it hard for database admins, IT admins, and SecOps to work together to meet business objectives and protect data. Let me share the trends we are seeing in the market that make the status quo untenable. Legacy architectures weren't built for modern threats. Many organizations still rely on insecure architectures that require loosely coupled backup hardware, software, and secondary storage systems, which creates a larger attack surface. Imagine waking up to all your backups being deleted and the backup software incapacitated in a cyber attack. The business is down as you scramble to bring up the backup software and the databases with any offline copy you may be able to find. Create a variety of databases, each with its own tools. Your business needs to respond faster and analyze more data to be competitive. This results in applications needing more specialized databases for every use case. A typical enterprise uses legacy databases for legacy applications, a variety of cloud and on-premises databases for analytics, in-memory databases for demanding applications, document databases to power dynamic applications, and so on. Each of these databases have their own tools for backup and restore, along with different business SLAs. Dealing with this complexity is expensive, creates silos, and increases the risk that critical data will be left unprotected. Databases are growing fast with higher performance expectations. To make matters worse, data volumes are growing fast, driven by transaction volumes as well as the needing to use richer data in applications. A report sponsored by Seagate and conducted by IDC, it's estimated that enterprise data collection has increased by 42% over the last 2 years, jumping from a total enterprise data volume of a petabyte per enterprise in 2020 to almost 2 petabytes in 2022. The growth in data collection can be attributed to the increased use of analytics, cloud migration initiatives, and the proliferation of IoT devices. For example, retailers now track more data about each consumer. At the same time, backup windows have remained the same or have shortened, driven by the need for higher availability. This means backing up data and making it available for testing, refreshes, operational recoveries often exceed desired SLAs. Lastly, organizations are unable to rapidly recover what they need when they need it. For example, recovering specific tables or specific sets of rows when needed. Legacy tools are often limited to all or nothing recovery methods that take a lot of time. This adds operational risk and is much slower than desired by the business. These trends are having a huge impact on organizations, and we see it in the questions database teams are asking us. Questions like, how do I keep all my database data secure and available in the face of cyber threats? How do I maintain a backup and recovery SLA when data volumes are increasing and backup windows are shrinking? How do I rapidly recover only the data I need? And how do I centrally manage the numerous databases in the cloud as well as in the data center? This is why at Rubrik we believe there are a whole new set of requirements that organizations must have in order to protect databases in this era. Keep database data resilient to cyber attacks. Organizations need a resilient, integrated platform that delivers air-gapped, immutable, access-controlled backups that can be easily replicated and archived to multiple locations. Automate database protection to ensure data is maximally protected in a changing environment. Organizations need policy-based automation that can discover, secure, and manage retention of data in the variety of their databases across enterprise in the public cloud. Faster backup and restores at scale. Organizations need smarter and higher performing backup technologies to deal with larger volumes of data within shorter backup windows. Instantaneous recovery of data at any scale is also a critical requirement. Unify and simplify database protection across cloud and on-premises. Organizations need a single console to manage database, irrespective of variety, location, or volume, with ease of use and self-service. And lastly, recover what you need when you need it. Organizations need the flexibility to restore specific data or entire workloads en masse as necessary. Keeping databases protected has always been a challenge. Having the wrong tools can make it even harder. With that, I would like to pass it over to my colleague, Ashish Patwardhan, one of our product leaders from our database protection team, to walk us through how Rubrik approaches solving these challenges. Over to you, Ashish.
Thanks, Vasu. As a leader in data protection and data security, Rubrik keeps all your databases data safe and readily available for recovery, so you can always recover only what you need and when you need it. To be able to do that, Rubrik has been architected to solve each of the requirements that Vasu just laid out. Starting with Zero Trust by design. First up, Rubrik Security Cloud was designed with a logical air gap, secure protocols, native immutability, encryption, and access controls. As a result, this means you can keep your database's data safe and readily available for when you need it most. There is nothing better than peace of mind. Next up is global policy-driven automation. With Rubrik's global policy-driven automation, you can ensure data availability, maintain policy compliance, and orchestrate recovery workflows. Rubrik enforces data security strategies with automated discovery and policy-driven workflows, at the same time ensuring fast and predictable recoveries with the understanding of application relationships. This means that you can discover all of your databases as they are created and protect them by applying custom policies. There is no more worry about leaving a database behind unprotected. Next up is incremental forever backups and live mount. Now, to address the challenge of backing up largest databases or large data volumes, Rubrik leverages incremental forever backups and also provides a live mount capability for rapid data access. This means that you can reduce your backup times and access your data within minutes. No more risk of missing your objectives because the data volumes are relying on other teams to access the data you manage. Global catalog management and control. With Rubrik Security Cloud, you can centralize your database protection to simplify management at scale. Regardless of how many different database types are there in your data center or how many different places they are running, you have a single place to manage their protection. Last but not the least, flexible recovery. Finally, with Rubrik's flexible recovery options, you can recover the entire database or you can recover only the data that you need. That could be a simple file, or that could be a table within a database, or anything as granular as that. With Rubrik, you're in the driver's seat, you're in control, and you can exercise your expertise how you want, when you want it. Now, to hear just how important these required capabilities are and what they mean to database teams, I'm excited to be joined by David Klee, who is currently the founder and chief architect at Heraflux Technologies, which is an advisory firm with expertise in performance and business continuity for databases. David is a Microsoft MVP, a VMware vExpert, SQL Server performance enthusiast, and a virtualization architect. So great to have you here with us. Databases already come with native data protection tools, but given the new requirements in this new era of ransomware, what do the capabilities Rubrik provides mean for improving resiliency and faster, more targeted recoveries?
Database engines come with a limited set of data protection tools, and these are even more limited at the hands of DBAs that just don't know how to use them, or worse, have organizational challenges, not technical, that won't let them use them. Database engines have a ton of database tools. The VM platforms have tools, servers have native tools, organizations have third-party tools bolted on everywhere to try to address some of the shortcomings of the various tools. But the organizations, the tools have not caught up with the changing times. Data volumes are massive and the rates of data change is strictly exponential. People don't have the time to have a tool to do X and then another tool to do Y. They need tooling that just solves all the challenges in one spot, both to keep that data safe and to recover it faster than the business requires if an emergency strikes. Rubrik can do this, both from the server and the database perspective, and it does it all well.
It was brought to my attention that you just started working with one of your customers who was attacked by ransomware just last week, and you helped them recover. Can you share what that experience has been like and how things would have been different if they were using Rubrik?
Unfortunately, yes. So if I look a little worse for the wear today, this is why. Over the American Thanksgiving holiday, one of our good clients got hit with a really sophisticated ransomware attack. They thought they had everything under control and locked down, but I warned them a year and a half ago when we did a health check that they needed to improve their data protection and increase offsite backup retention. Just like everybody else, they said they were working on it, but unfortunately, it doesn't look like they got there. We still don't know how the attacker got in, and they're still down right now, but the systems were completely trashed. Even after a successful decryption of their most of their critical files, the metadata inside the critical database for their entire manufacturing company was unrecoverable. And the only database backup that they had was a copy they sent their ERP vendor 2 months ago as a part of a routine support ticket. So right now, they're still trying to figure out how to get the inventory for where they sent product the last couple of months, who owes them money, and they're manually recounting each and every product that they have in a 250,000 square foot warehouse. It's an absolute catastrophe. If their business is trashed, they're going to be hurting for years after this. The resiliency improvements that Rubrik would have provided means early detection before it ramped up and encrypted files, and most likely remediation would have been a nuisance, but they wouldn't have had this catastrophe that they're dealing with right now. Even though they had to roll back their databases, they wouldn't have lost that much data, and the recoverability would have been almost immediate. But I can tell you clearly, they're buying Rubrik as soon as the dust settles from this attack.
That's very insightful. Now, protecting databases is more challenging than ever before. There are more database types across more places than ever before, with more data than ever before. And one of the most common questions we get from our customers is, what about the cloud? So from your perspective, what makes protecting databases in the cloud so difficult given traditional approaches to data protection? And how do you see Rubrik simplifying this?
Definitely. Pick your poison with any given platform, either on-prem or in the cloud, and now you have to deal with the nuances of that platform. To me, cloud just means automation in somebody else's data center. The automation of the data services might mean you have less control and more stringent limitations over that given data endpoint. Pick a more tightly constrained model, such as databases as a service, and your methods are forced to change. And then some organizations want multi-cloud, so double or worse your methods and processes. Due to all of the weird requirements around various application databases and software deployment models and legacy coding practices, your data estate is going to be all over the place. Each and every choice made results in more and more methods that you're forced to deal with to back up and secure those data platforms. Nobody's got time for that. But the folks managing these tasks are usually the last point in the chain and have very little weight or say in the decisions made above. They need simple, reliable, and most importantly, a single platform that can do this. It's one product, one process, one tool to learn and manage. It's what they need. They need simple efficiency so they can be more proactive with both this and their ongoing responsibilities. Rubrik is my choice for keeping things efficient so I can sleep at night and minimize my risk.
Absolutely. So we know databases teams prefer to steer away from third-party tools. And given what you know about Rubrik, can you share what Rubrik means for database teams, or maybe what surprised you or impressed you about the way we deliver protection for databases?
Too many times, DBAs and infrastructure engineers just clash on their tools of choice. I'll be frank. Infrastructure-centric tooling rarely understands the database's inner workings. Tasks like transaction log backups must be handled with care of a surgeon to maintain the recoverability options that business requires. Most of the tools that infrastructure administrators will give you gives you file level backup, but that doesn't cross the finish line on items like transaction log management, point in time recovery, and I do mean any point in time between those server or database backups, not just when that backup was taken. Other tasks are immediate recoverability for critical databases. And sometimes the recovery time objectives for these big databases are minutes and not hours or days. DBAs can sniff out bad marketing. And as a result, they rarely go with third-party tooling for database backup management. They don't trust it because it doesn't do all the tasks that the DBA requires, and not just wanting to maintain the SLAs that the business has decreed. A while back, when Rubrik was a stealth mode startup, I was fortunate enough to work with Rubrik Engineering directly on the first revision of the SQL Server backup tooling to make sure that backups work, both from an infrastructure perspective and a database perspective. Every situation and scenario that a DBA might historically need native and not always ideal tooling are properly handled by the Rubrik platform. It passes the DBA sniff test. I believe in it because I helped to build it, and I know that it works. It was built to meet a career DBA's requirements working in some of the most intense and large data-driven environments in the world, and it truly is my go-to for a single server and database backup business continuity platform.
Thanks a lot, David. That was very insightful, and we hope to talk to you again. Thanks a lot for sharing your perspective and your time today.
Thank you.
As you have heard from Vasu and David, and have probably experienced this yourself, protecting databases is not an easy task. And with today's market trends and threat landscape, it's only going to get harder. The good news is that with Rubrik, you can keep all your databases safe and readily available. So you can always recover what you need and when you need it. Customers, big and small, across industries, across the globe, trust Rubrik to protect their databases. We are proud to have customers like Wed2Be, Estee Lauder Companies, Pampered Chef, and the Aaron's Company. The Aaron's Company has a pretty interesting story. Aaron's is a leading provider of furniture, consumer electronics, home appliances, and accessories. Its products are available for purchase and lease through 1,300 stores in the US, Canada, and online. Prior to Rubrik, Aaron's Company was manually protecting their SQL environment on a per host level. And if they had to do any upgrades, they had to go host by host. Can you imagine the time and effort it would take their database team to manage all these hosts? They also didn't have a great way to archive older backups, resulting in excessive storage utilization and poor backup and restore performance. The admin team was struggling to provide visibility to their stakeholders on how long their backups would take in order to support the database patching. Rubrik Security Cloud provided ARNs with a single management plane, allowing them to update all of their systems at once. The automated discovery and protection with Rubrik's SLAs eliminated the need of mundane jobs, allowing them to get their time back for higher impact tasks. The ARNs company actually had an unfortunate event last year. Their distribution warehouses went down and required them to restore all their data. With Rubrik, they were able to determine a desired point in time, retrieve databases from archival, and recover by clicking a few buttons. With nearly $2 billion in revenue and a customer base representing 30% of the US population, the outage could have been a disaster. But with Rubrik, their warehouses were back online in less than 90 minutes. That is pretty powerful. Protecting databases is a major focus for Rubrik and is an area where we will continue to innovate, keeping our foot on the gas all the time. Rubrik was founded in 2014 and has only been selling for the last 7 years. In the short amount of time, Rubrik has delivered purpose-built protection for Microsoft SQL Server, for Oracle databases, for MongoDB, Cassandra, SAP HANA, and most recently IBM DB2. And we see the trust and belief in these solutions with our momentum. I'm proud to share that Rubrik is protecting databases for more than 2,250 customers and has over 1.5 million total objects under management, totaling over 175 petabytes of total data. And the largest database under protection is coming in at 300 terabytes. Protecting databases is a tough task for any organization, but it doesn't have to be with the right tools.
All right, great session. Thank you so much to our friends at Rubrik. Before you go, I want to remind everyone, don't forget about the Zero Trust Summit that's coming up, hosted by John Kindervarg, creator of the Zero Trust model for cybersecurity. This is going to be a joint Microsoft and Rubrik event happening on Tuesday, February 28th at 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific. So make sure that you check that out. There's a QR code right there on the screen. You can scan with your phone, or if you check out the handouts tab, there's a link directly to that. There's also a link to getting started with Rubrik. You can try out Rubrik for yourself and get additional information there as well. All right, I'll leave that information up while I announce the winner of our Amazon $300 gift card. This is going out to Jeff Randall from California. Congratulations, Jeff Randall from California. We'll reach out to you to deliver your gift card. Thank you to everyone for the excellent questions. I encourage you, again, to attend the Zero Trust Summit and visit Rubrik.com for additional information. I hope that you learned a lot on the event today, and I hope you have a great day. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.